Yes, you. Welcome to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast, a podcast for people who want to disrupt their lives for a good reason, to make it count. I'm your host, Jen Glantz, and every week I'll drop a new episode with stories from real people just like you, who woke up one morning and decided to make big changes, starting with small things. We'll cover topics like entrepreneurship, love, failure, and self-care. Hey, you're not getting any younger, so let's make this an adventure. Ready? Be honest with me, do you find yourself working after 6 p.m., checking emails at the dinner table, or staying up super late to work on that important project you just can't finish? Most of the time, the culprit is not you. No, it's not you. It's your to-do list. You don't just need a list. You need an assistant that keeps you on track and ensures you prioritize the right things. That's where Sunsama comes in handy. They're the only planning assistant that pulls your emails, calendar events, and tasks from your favorite apps into one focused view for just today. That's huge. I know that I've been super happy with the platform because honestly, without it, I feel like a mess. I feel like I have paper to-do lists everywhere and I get nothing done. Go ahead and see for yourself. Just try it out. You can go to Sunsama and you can plan your day in a way that'll make you feel a whole lot less stressed out. Click the link below and learn more today. Hey, any youngers, it's me, your host, Jen Glantz, back with another episode of the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. It's absolutely impossible to podcast in this apartment anymore. It's just so challenging. I've had to stop and start this 10 times yelling at Adam. He had the microwave on, not once, not twice, but he heated something up 4 times in a row. I don't understand why. He's like, am I causing too much noise? I'm like, yes, absolutely. We are in 500 square feet together. I'm trying to podcast and you have the microwave on 4 times. What are you heating up 4 times? Whatever you're heating up 4 times, isn't heating. It's not working. Don't eat it. So then he slammed the door because he was just so annoyed. Also, we live in such a small environment that he has to hear everything I'm saying when I podcast, and he already hears me enough. So I give him that. Then Goofy's in the room with me, and she also is so overhearing me podcast that she starts crying. So then Adam has to come in, take Goofy out. He takes her out, and he leaves the door open. So of course I say, can you please shut the door? And then, he's like so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. Plus, my building is doing something every single day for the next 2 weeks, where between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m., they're doing major construction on concrete on the bottom of the building. So if you can imagine the sound from 9 to 4 every day of drilled concrete, it is like one of the most painful sounds to listen to. And that's going to happen for the next couple of weeks. So I'm only able to podcast at night, which, it's always an adventure. Everyone thinks New York City is so magical, and it is, but you also have to deal with endless noise when you least expect it and when you absolutely don't want it. I'm glad that we all are over Valentine's Day. I know it's such a weird holiday. Some people love it. Some people don't like it. I personally don't really care either way. Even when I was single, I never really cared either way. I remember my first Valentine's Day in New York City, I took the subway to my friend's house for dinner. And I remember riding the subway. I was super single, and there's people on the subway with bouquets of roses and stuffed teddy bears and chocolate. And I was like, it's such a beautiful holiday to watch other people in love, but I felt so sad that I wasn't. And it's a holiday that definitely makes you check in on yourself and your relationship status and what's going on with your life. And it's just a weird holiday to have in the coldest month of the year and the shortest month of the year, but we're past that. Today, I want to talk to you about how to love something so important, which is yourself. One of the things I try to do every Valentine's Day is sit down and check in with myself. I try to figure out, okay, am I doing the things that I need to make myself feel happy, to make myself feel good, and to make myself feel like I'm growing as a person? So here are some ways that I challenge myself and think about this during the month of February. Number 1, I ask myself, Jen, how well do you understand yourself? Because if you don't understand yourself, nobody else is going to understand you. So I ask myself questions like, what are you good at? What do you enjoy? What have you accomplished in your life? What kind of things are you working on? What makes you unique? What's your superpower? And I ask myself these questions out loud, but I also write down the answers. Now, these are questions that you shouldn't just ask yourself once. You should ask yourself them quite often because, again, if you don't understand yourself, your value, and your power, nobody else will ever understand that, respect that, or value that. So rewind this, go back to those questions and ask yourself those questions. Number 2, I think about ways to challenge myself because growth is something that you're responsible for. Like once you graduate school, there's really nobody else who keeps you accountable in the sense of like learning and growing as a person. Maybe sometimes your job does, or your partner does, or your mom does, but it's on you to do that. So I always pick something for the week that I want to work on as a challenge. Maybe it's reading 20 minutes a day. Maybe it's calling someone in my phone book, or maybe it's doing one nice thing for yourself. Today, my thing was walking 10,000 steps. It's obviously very, very cold out, but even so, I tried to say, okay, I'm going to walk 10,000 steps, which by the way, in New York City, that's not a lot. I know other places that's like a lot, but here it's not a lot. And I got to 7,000 and I was like, okay, I can go home, I can eat my Trader Joe's ice cream and sit on the couch, or I can spend probably 15 minutes walking in the circles and getting my additional steps. And that's what I did because it was a challenge because I didn't want to do it. Number 3, learn to sit still with yourself. When is the last time you spent quality time with yourself, without your phone, without your TV, without your best friend, without your dog? I don't know when the last time I've spent any time without my dog is. But if you tried this week to carve out 10 minutes of your day where you just sat there and you listened to your thoughts, your feelings, and you processed them, I think you'd start to heal. I think you start to understand yourself. I think you'd start to see yourself in a different way. And finally, own up to yourself. We all have something about us we're super self-conscious about. I know for me, sometimes it's my acne. If it can flare up a lot around my chin and my cheeks and my neck area. And when that happens, I start to feel super self-conscious. Like everybody can see, everybody knows it, everyone's judging me. Or I feel self-conscious when I'm in a group of people and I say something that I think was funny, but it just wasn't funny. There's moments like that that just make me feel like I'm putting myself down. Start to think about the parts of you that make you feel awkward or nervous to show other people and see which parts of those you can slowly start to show. I know for myself, one of the biggest developments I've had in the last couple of years is being more myself to the people in my life. And I've lost friends because of that. I've lost best friends because I've been myself and I've been honest about what I believe in and care about. But I've also made some really good, solid ones too. So as we close out the month of February, the coldest, chilliest month of the year on our bodies, our hearts, and our minds, think about what you can do to love yourself more. Because there's a lot. And that kind of work isn't just for the month of February. Until next week, all my love, Jen Glantz.
Hey you! Thank you for listening to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. There are hundreds of thousands of pods out there, so thank you for listening to this one. You can find the show notes for this week's episode up on our website, anyyounger.com. Subscribe, rate, and review the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast on iTunes so that other ears around the world can listen too. Oh! And join our secret You're Not Getting Any Younger Facebook group, where over 1,000 people are talking about how to disrupt their lives, for a good reason, to make it count. Until next week, all my love, Jen Glantz.